Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm going to try to teach you the basics of crochet. So, for a beginner, all you need to start is some yarn and a crochet hook. The best way to know what size hook you want or what size yarn you want, it doesn't really matter in the beginning when you just understand the stitches, but for this purpose I'm using a 4-ply. So that means if you unravel it, there will be 4 strands holding it together, as you can see. So that's what it means to be a 4-ply. There are lots of different names for it, but this is probably the most common strand of yarn that you'll find at a store for pretty cheap. You'll also want to find hooks. So there are so many different size hooks and so many different hand grips that are comfortable. I seem to like the plain ones. A good rule of thumb is to find a hook whose bar here close to the hook is about the same size as the yarn. So this is a 4mm hook. It's about the right one that you want for a 4-ply right here. It varies, and by changing the size of the yarn and the size of the hook, you can change the size of your project. But for simplicity's sake, we'll just do 4 with 4. So the first step to starting your crochet project is by learning how to do a slip knot. To do that, you take your yarn, hold it here, wrap it around 2 fingers, and cross it on top. Take your hook, put it between your fingers, try to hook that yarn, pull it through. Take your fingers out, hold the 2 long pieces and pull. Release the short piece and pull, and that is your slip knot. This is the starting for pretty much any basic crochet. You don't want to pull it too tight, because when working with yarn, if you pull too tightly, it makes it very, very hard to work with your yarn. So just a loose touch. The next step you're gonna need to do is figure out how to hold your yarn so it's not all loose all over the place. What I like to do is wrap it around my thumb and then put it over my finger here so I can manipulate where the yarn goes. And then I can use these 2 fingers to guide my project. Some people, they like to do it like this. Others, they just like to do it with your pointer finger. So really whatever you like to do and what's most comfortable for you. So once you figure out your slip knot, you have to learn how to chain. It's called the foundation chain for a reason. So what you do is you yarn over, grab that long strand of yarn, pull it through the loop, and repeat. Many projects will require you to count, but in the beginning, just get comfortable with your chain. Going back and forth, yarn over and pull through, and yarn over and pull through. And as you can see, you see nice cute little V's here. This, you have to get comfortable with how this looks, because this is what your top of your crochet stitches will start to look like. The most basic that you will find is single crochet. So chains are great, but they're not really anything. You want to start learning how to make actual stitches. So when turning, you usually go back on your work in the opposite direction. We'll start with a single crochet, and I'm working in US terms. UK terms will be slightly different. So a single crochet in US terms, you will skip, do you see where this yarn is pulling through? That is the first chain from the hook. We want to work in the second one. So what you do, you take your hook, you insert it through the middle of that little V there, and then you grab the yarn, pull it through, and now you have 2 loops on your hook. Once again, you yarn over, and it's called yarn over because you push the yarn around on top of the hook, and then you pull it through one more time. You continue to do that all the way across, and I'll do that a couple times. Put it through the middle of that V, pull the yarn through, pull it through one more time. And you will start to see single crochet. Next stitch you'll probably end up seeing is called a half double crochet. It's a bit different. You have to yarn over, put your hook through the V, pull through, and then pull through all 3 of them. As you can see, it gets a bit longer. A half double crochet is a bit taller than a single crochet. So one more time, to do a half double, you put the hook through the long part that's still connected to your ball. Then you can put your hook through the stitch, grab the yarn, have 3, and pull through. One more time. Yarn over, insert the hook, pull through, and pull through. The last basic stitch you'll probably end up encountering is called a double crochet. Same thing. You yarn over, put the hook through your stitch, and pull through. But instead of pulling through all 3 stitches, or 3 loops on the hook, you yarn over and pull through only 2 of them. Then you do it one more time. As you can see, the double is taller than the single, and even the half double crochet. One more time. Yarn over, insert into the stitch, pull through. Since it's a double, you only pull through 2, and you do it one more time. Last time. Yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch, pull through, only 2, last 2. And this is basically your beginner stitches. You have your foundation chain, you have your single crochets, your half double crochets, and your double crochets. As you work your projects, you recognize that V on the top? These are important to know because if you put your hook through, let me remove her quickly. This is called the top of the stitch. See how there's a gap here, and you can put your hook all the way through and gather and have the whole V on top. Most projects will call for you to do this and insert your hook into this gap to pull the yarn through. Some projects, when holding it, will ask you to do front loop only. So when looking at the V, the front loop will be the one closest to you. So see how I can insert my hook into only one of those loops on the top? That is your front loop here. The back loop, naturally, will be the one further away from you, the one back here. So you can insert your hook into the front loop or into the back loop, depending on what your pattern calls for. Others will call this portion here is called the post. So some patterns will ask for you to put your hook through here. And with that, that's your basics for crochet. If for any reason your hook happens to fall out of your project like so, be sure that you put your hook back in going the correct direction. The way you know which the correct direction is if you slightly pulled on the loop. Do you see how it still moves? You always want that moving part to be closest to you, like so. See how that part moves and it's in front? If it ends up twisting and going to the back, your stitches will start to look a little bit weird and your tension might get off. So, good rule of thumb, always remember to keep things facing you. And that's it for some of the basics for crochet stitches and understanding the makeup of what a crochet stitch is. So hopefully this helps you understand some of the patterns a little bit better moving forward.